With us this morning we have James and Daniel Wahlberg. They come from the United States of America. It will be their conversion, their testimony on family conversion, family and individual conversion.
Hello.
Pozdrav svima.
Usually when I speak in front of large crowds, I always start with a joke.
Obično kada govorim pred velikim brojem ljudi, započnem sa šalom.
And it was suggested by my son that I don't do that this time.
Ali moj sin mi je preporučio da ovaj put to ne činim.
But I will say that while being here for this festival, it was much more fun being out there watching than being up here giving testimony.
Ali ove dane dok sam ovdje na festivalu mladih, moram vam reći da je bilo puno zabavnije biti među vama dole i gledati ovo sve nego stajati ovdje pred vama.
But I have to trust in God that this is what He wants from me.
Ali moram imati povjerenja u Boga da je to ono što On od mene želi.
8 years ago, when I had my conversion,
Prije 8 godina kada sam započeo svoj proces obraćenja,
I made a commitment to God to say yes.
učinio sam predanje Bogu i rekao sam da.
Yes to whenever anyone asked me to do something to glorify God, to just say yes before I had time to think about it.
Da svemu onomu što me bilo tko upita da kažem na slavu Božju.
So, yes, here I am.
I evo da, ovdje sam danas.
So my testimony, it's interesting that God places me at a youth festival.
Zanimljivo je kako me je Gospodin smjestio na festival mladih.
Because my testimony really starts in my youth.
Jer moje svjedočanstvo uistinu započinje u moje mladenačkoj dobi.
Which was a really very difficult time for me.
Koje je bilo vrlo teško vrijeme za mene.
I'm one of 9 children.
Dolazim iz obitelji od 9 djece.
And I was born in Boston, Massachusetts.
I rođen sam u Bostonu, u državi Massachusetts.
I was raised Catholic.
Odrastao sam kao katolik.
But we didn't practice the faith.
Ali unatoč tomu nismo prakticirali svoju vjeru.
So on Sunday mornings my parents would wake up.
Tako da bi nedjeljno jutro roditelji bi se probudili.
And send us all to church. They wouldn't join us.
I oni bi nas poslali u crkvu, ali oni ne bi išli s nama.
And so my brothers and sisters and I would all walk out of the house.
Tako da bi moja braća i sestre zajedno sa mnom izišli iz kuće.
We would all walk in different directions.
I svi bi otišli u različitim pravcima.
And none of us would end up at Mass.
A nitko od nas ne bi završio na misi.
We would always end up somewhere in a park or somewhere hanging out waiting for Mass to be over.
Uvijek bi završili u nekom parku ili bilo gdje, čekajući jednostavno da misa završi.
Of course, we would go and get the bulletin and bring it home as evidence that we went.
Svakako, u crkvu bi samo navratili uzeti one dnevne informacije kako bi mogli dokazati da smo bili u crkvi.
At a very early age, I felt a call to the streets.
U vrlo ranoj dobi osjetio sam poziv izići na ulicu.
And I started drinking alcohol and doing drugs at a very young age.
I kao vrlo mladi dječak započeo sam koristiti alkohol i drogu.
Probably around 11 or 12 years old.
Možda već u dobi od 11 i 12 godina.
And so I would spend all my time in the streets. I wouldn't go to school. I wouldn't come home.
Sve svoje vrijeme provodio sam na ulici, nisam išao u školu, nisam se vraćao kući.
And so, as you can imagine, it was a very lonely life. It was fun when my friends were around.
Da, bilo je zabavno dok su moji prijatelji bili oko mene.
But at a certain point, they would go home.
Ali u određenom trenutku oni bi otišli doma.
And I would be alone in the streets looking for a place to sleep.
A ja bi ostao sam na ulici tražeći mjesto gdje prespavati.
It was, to say the least, a very lonely and sad time.
To je bilo najusamljenije i najtužnije vrijeme.
And I was acting out regularly, constantly, getting arrested for petty crimes.
I jednostavno vrlo često sam znao biti uhićivan.
I think sometimes I would get arrested so that I could go to jail and have a place to sleep.
Možda sam nekad i namjerno isposlovao da me uhapse kako bi imao mjesto gdje prespavati.
I never felt the presence of God in my life at this time.
U to vrijeme nisam nikada osjećao Božju prisutnost u svom životu.
I believed in God,
Vjerovao sam u Boga,
but I didn't believe that He loved me.
ali nisam vjerovao da me On uistinu voli.
I believed that He was angry with me, that I was going to be in a lot of trouble.
Vjerovao sam kako je ljut na mene i kako ću imati mnoge poteškoće.
So when I was about 17 years old,
Kad mi je bilo 17 godina,
while under the influence of alcohol and drugs,
pod utjecajem alkohola i droge,
I was arrested
bio sam uhapšen
for armed robbery.
jer sam sa naoružan u biti išao u pljačku.
And I went to court, and they gave me 3 to 5 years in state prison.
I završio sam na sudu gdje su me osudili na 3 do 5 godina u državnom zatvoru.
So at 17 years old,
Tako da sam u dobi od 17 godina,
just a child,
kao dijete,
I was in prison with grown men,
bio sam u zatvoru s odraslim muškarcima.
and I was afraid all the time.
I cijelo vrijeme sam se bojao.
And so I was more worried about what they thought of me
Ali više sam se brinuo o tomu što su oni mislili o meni,
than what I thought of myself.
nego o tomu što sam ja mislio samom sebi.
So I would constantly try to do things to impress them.
Tako da sam cijelo vrijeme pokušavao činiti stvari kako bi njih impresionirao.
So on that, when I went, I was supposed to do about 3 years.
Tako da kad sam došao trebao sam provesti otprilike 3 godine,
But because of my behaviors, they kept me for 5 years.
ali obzirom na moje ponašanje tamo zadržali su me punih 5 godina.
And after 5 years, I left that prison.
I nakon 5 godina napustio sam zatvor.
And before I could even get to my mother's house to see her, who I hadn't seen her in 5 years,
Prije nego što sam i mogao otići do kuće svoje majke, koju u tih 5 godina uopće nisam vidio,
I had to stop and have some alcohol.
morao sam stati negdje i uzeti malo alkohola.
And from that first day until exactly 6 months later,
I od tog prvog dana do 6 mjeseci nakon toga,
I drank as much as I could,
pio sam do iznemoglosti
and I did as many drugs as I could do,
i uzimao sam droge koliko sam mogao primiti.
until I got arrested again,
Dok ponovno nisam bio uhićen.
and I was on my way back to prison one more time.
I trebao sam se ponovno vratiti u zatvor još jednom.
This time they gave me a 6 to 9 year prison sentence.
Ovog puta su mi dosudili 6 do 8 godina zatvora.
And so I was in prison, and I was thinking about what 9 years would mean to me.
I dok sam bio u zatvoru razmišljao sam što bi tih 9 godina trebalo značiti za mene.
After 9 years, I would be over 30 years old,
Jer nakon tih 9 godina imat ću preko 30 godina.
which was so old.
Jer za mene to tada bilo tako staro doba.
And so I started to do things while I was in prison
I dok sam bio u zatvoru započeo sam činiti određene stvari.
to create the illusion that I was trying to be a better person.
Kako bi stvorio iluziju u biti da ću jednom kada iziđem biti bolji čovjek.
But it was just an illusion,
Ali to je bila samo iluzija.
because I was still filled with anger.
Jer sam još uvijek bio ispunjen ljutnjom.
At this time, the Catholic priest at the prison that I was in
Ali u to vrijeme katolički svećenik koji je dolazio u zatvor dok sam ja tamo bio,
came to me and asked me would I like to work in the chapel.
došao je i upitao me bi li želio raditi u kapelici.
And I said yes,
Moj odgovor je bio da,
because they had air conditioning.
jer tamo je imala klima uređaj.
Yeah, I did not have a desire to work in the chapel for holy reasons.
Nisam imao nekakvih svetih razloga raditi u kapelici.
But God and this priest had a plan.
Ali su Bog i ovaj svećenik imali plan.
And their plan was to evangelize me.
A njihov plan je bio da me evangeliziraju.
Their plan was to bring me home to the church.
Njihov plan je bio da me vrate doma, da me vrate crkvi.
As I said, when I was very young, I was baptized, and I made my first Holy Communion.
Kao što sam rekao, kao mali dječak bio sam i kršten, primio sam i prvu svetu pričest.
But I never made my confirmation.
Ali nikad nisam primio sakrament potvrde.
And this priest, Father Jim Freitas,
A ovaj svećenik, Father Jim Freitas,
started to prepare me for confirmation.
je započeo pripremati me za sakrament potvrde.
And I started to feel the real presence of God in my life for the first time.
I po prvi puta u svom životu počeo sam osjećati Božju prisutnost u svom životu.
I was attending Mass regularly.
Išao sam redovito na svetu misu.
I was going to confession.
Išao sam na ispovjed.
I was consuming the Eucharist.
I primao sam Euharistiju.
And my heart was full.
I moje srce je bilo ispunjeno.
And for the first time I looked at the future
I po prvi puta sam gledao na budućnost
with excitement.
S uzbuđenjem.
Because I felt this presence of God in my life. I was on fire.
Bio sam ushićen jer sam uistinu osjećao Božju prisutnost u svom životu.
Soon it was time for me to be released again.
Uskoro sam trebao ponovno napustiti zatvor.
And I got out, and with God's help,
napustio sam zatvor i s Božjom pomoći
and His grace,
i njegovoj milosti,
I did not return to drugs and alcohol.
Nisam se vratio korištenju alkohola i droge više.
And since then until now, which is just almost 30 years,
I od tada do dana današnjeg, što je otprilike nekih 30
I
godina,
have not found it necessary to have a drink or a drug.
nisam našao uopće za shodno niti potrebu da pijem, niti da se drogiram.
But sadly, I did turn my back
Ali nažalost okrenuo sam svoja leđa,
on God and on the faith.
okrenuo sam svoja leđa Bogu i vjeri.
I started to think that all these great things that were happening in my life were because I was a great guy.
Počeo sam vjerovati kako su sve te divne, velike stvari koje su se dogodile u mom životu bile rezultat činjenice da sam ja bio neka cool osoba.
Without God, I'm not a good guy.
Ali bez Boga ja nisam dobar čovjek.
So during this time, I got married to a beautiful woman.
I tijekom tog vremena oženio sam se prelijepom ženom.
And I started to have children. My first son, Daniel.
I onda su mi se rodila djeca. Moj prvi sin Daniel ovdje sa mnom.
And my twins, Kyra and Jeffrey.
I moji blizanci Kyra i Jeffrey.
And I was blessed to never have them see me drink or do drugs.
Imao sam taj blagoslov da me oni nikada nisu vidjeli alkoholiziranom stanju ili pod drogama.
But I started to do just what my parents did to me.
Ali sam s njima počeo činiti isto ono što su moji roditelji činili sa mnom.
Which was I would send them to mass with my wife.
To jest poslao bih zajedno sa svojom suprugom u crkvu na misu.
And I would stay home.
A ja bi ostao doma.
And it's one of my greatest regrets in life.
I to je jedna od onih stvari koje najviše sam požalio u životu.
You see, growing up the way I grew up,
odrastajući na način kako sam ja odrastao,
I never smiled.
Nikad se nisam smiješio.
I never had joy in my heart.
Nikad nisam imao radost u svom srcu.
I always looked angry. I always looked upset.
Uvijek sam izgledao ljutit, neraspoložen.
And it's a work in progress because sometimes people will still ask me, "Are you okay?"
Ali evo, još uvijek radim na tome i dan danas ljudi me znaju pitati je li sve u redu s tobom.
But I know nothing is too big for God, and I know the smiles are coming.
Ali ja znam da ništa nije preteško za Boga i znam da će taj smiješak doći.
So after several years of sending my family to church,
dakle, nakon nekoliko godina šaljući svoju obitelj u crkvu na misu,
and not having the joy of God in my life,
i ne imajući radost Boga u svom životu,
my wife had a conversion.
Moja supruga je doživjela obraćenje.
A major conversion.
Uistinu, istinsko obraćenje.
And of course, when my wife has a conversion,
i onda kad je moja supruga imala to iskustvo,
guess what happens?
Pogodite što se dogodilo.
She starts pointing me in the direction of Jesus. She starts pointing me in the direction of church.
Počela je mene upućivati prema Isusu, počela je mene upućivati prema crkvi.
She starts to evangelize me in my home 24 hours a day.
I ona je počela evangelizirati mene i našu obitelj 24 sata na dan.
And so she came to me and she said that I want you to go on a retreat.
Tako je prišla meni i kazala, želim da odeš na jedan duhovni seminar.
And I said no.
A moj odgovor je bio ne.
And then my daughter came to me
A onda je moja kćerka mi prišla
and she said, Daddy, I want you to go on this retreat, please.
i rekla je, oče, želim da ideš na ovaj duhovni seminar.
I want you to be happy.
Želim da budeš sretan.
I want you to know Christ.
Želim da upoznaš Krista.
And so I went on this weekend-long retreat.
Tako da sam otišao na taj duhovni seminar koji je trajao jedan vikend,
With no intention of opening up.
bez ikakve namjere da se uistinu otvorim.
My plan was I will just get through the weekend to quiet my wife and my daughter down.
Moj plan je bio otići ću na taj vikend kako bi utišao svoju suprugu i svoju kćer.
But God had another plan.
Ali Bog je imao drugačiji plan.
God melted my heart.
Bog je otopio moje srce
He drove me to my knees
i ponukao me da dođem na koljena
at the foot of the cross.
ispod križa.
And everything changed.
I sve se promijenilo.
I had a conversion.
Počelo je moje obraćenje.
And I learned very quickly
I vrlo brzo sam naučio
that when we have a conversion,
da kad nam započne proces obraćanja,
that the devil gets very angry.
da se đavao vrlo ljuti.
He gets very angry. He doesn't want to lose
Ljuti se jer ne želi izgubiti
his people that were doing evil things.
ljude koji su do tada radili loše stvari.
He doesn't want to lose to Jesus.
Ne želi ih izgubiti kako bi oni otišli Isusu.
And so he came into my home
Tako da je on došao u moju kuću.
in the way of my son. We found out soon after my conversion that my son was doing drugs.
Na način da smo vrlo skoro nakon početka mog obraćanja saznali da je naš sin uzimao drogu.
And at this point of our testimony, I'm going to let my son share.
A sad ću prepustiti riječ svome sinu.
Thank you, Dad.
Hvala ti, tata.
Just want to say that I love you.
Želim ti reći kako te volim.
So, like my father said, you know,
Kao što je otac kazao,
I grew up Catholic as well, and
također sam odrastao kao katolik.
you know, he sent me and my mother and my brother and sister to church.
Moju majku, mene i mog brata i sestru on je slao u crkvu.
My mom, after her conversion,
Moja mama nakon svog obraćanja
she was very persistent in evangelizing.
bilo je vrlo insistirala na tomu da nas evangelizira.
She pushed the faith on me
Bila je ustrajna u tomu da mi nametne vjeru
and tried to get me to know Jesus
i da mi pokuša upoznati s Isusom.
by attending mass, attending youth groups.
Kroz odlaske na svetu misu, kroz skupine mladih,
But I wasn't entertained.
ali meni nije bilo zabavno.
I had no interest in coming to know God.
Nije me zanimalo upoznati Boga.
I had no interest in the faith.
Nije me zanimala vjera.
I was a lot more interested in the things of the world.
Puno su me više zanimale svjetovne stvari.
You know, growing up in the generation of social media,
Znate kako je dakle današnja generacija ovih društvenih medija,
where everyone wants to be somebody.
gdje god želite biti.
And, you know, I also felt a lot of pressure from the world.
A osjećao sam i veliki pritisak od
A
samog
lot of
svijeta.
pressure telling me that I had to be someone important.
Pritiska koji mi je govorio da mora biti netko važan.
My father didn't mention it in his story
Moj otac nije to napomenuo u svojoj priči,
because it's not really too much a part of his story.
jer to i nije dio njegove priče,
But his brother is an actor, a famous actor.
ali njegov brat je poznati glumac
So I grew up with this over my head.
i s tim sam odrastao u svojoj glavi.
I grew up with people telling me, oh, you should be an actor too. You're rich. Why aren't you rich?
Cijelo vrijeme su mi ljudi govorili ti bi trebao biti glumac, jesi li bogat, trebao bi biti bogat.
I wish I could be you. I wish I could be in your shoes.
Da sam barem ja na tvom mjestu i tako dalje.
But little did they know that I was empty inside and I didn't feel like I had an identity.
Ali oni nisu znali kako sam bio prazan iznutra, da nisam imao nikakav identitet.
And I felt a lot of pressure to impress people. I felt like I needed to impress everyone.
Bio sam pod pritiskom da impresioniram ljude, da impresioniram sve.
I needed others to love me.
Želio sam da me drugi vole.
I needed others to praise me.
Želio sam druge da me slave.
Because I didn't love myself.
Jer ja sam nisam volio sebe.
I didn't love God.
Nisam volio Boga.
And when I was 16 years old, I started to produce music.
I kad sam imao 16 godina, počeo sam producirati glazbu.
And growing up the way I did,
ali odrastajući na način na koji sam odrastao,
my father being, an ex-drug addict,
moj otac kao bivši ovisnik o drogama,
my whole life it was, planted in my head.
Cijeli život je nekako bio isplaniran u mojoj glavi.
Do not drink and do not do drugs.
Nemoj se alkoholizirati i nemoj uzimati drogu.
Because it's in our family.
Jer to je dio naše obitelji.
And I sincerely felt like I understood.
Uistinu sam osjećao kako sam to razumio.
But the world and the devil is very deceitful.
Ali svijet i đavo je vrlo lažljiv.
And he tricked me.
I on me prevario.
The music industry,
glazbena industrija
told me lies.
Mi je govorila laži.
And when I was 16 years old, I had a best friend.
I kad sam imao 16 godina, imao sam najboljega prijatelja.
He was like my brother.
Bio mi je poput brata.
He slept over my house, I slept over his house.
On bi prespavao kod mojih doma, ja bi prespavao kod njegovih.
We spoke on the phone all night.
Cijelu noć bi razgovarali telefonski.
And one day he didn't show up to school.
A jednog dana on se nije pojavio u školi.
He said he had back pains.
Rekao je kako ima probleme sa boli u leđima.
And a couple weeks later he called me and said he had cancer.
Nekoliko tjedana kasnije nazvao me kako bi mi kazao da ima karcinom.
And I went to see him every day in the hospital.
I onda sam išao svaki dan u bolnicu posjetiti ga.
And I saw one of the happiest people I knew turn to a very sad person.
Gdje sam mogao vidjeti jednu od najsretnijih ljudi koje sam poznavao u svom životu koji je bio tako utučen, tako žalostan.
And in 4 months he passed away.
I nakon nekoliko mjeseci on je preminuo.
And that big emptiness in my heart
I ta praznina u mom srcu
became way greater.
Postala je još veća.
And I needed something to fill that void.
Trebalo mi je nešto kako bih ispunio tu prazninu.
And I started to use drugs.
I onda sam počeo uzimati drogu.
And very quickly it progressed.
Brzo nakon toga povećalo se količina droge koju sam uzimao.
I got arrested once.
Jednom sam uhićen,
then twice,
onda i po drugi
then
put,
3 times,
onda i po treći
then
put,
4 times,
pa i četvrti put.
and I got kicked out of school.
Izbacili su me iz škole,
My parents kicked me out of their house.
roditelji su me izbacili iz kuće,
And today I'm able to say thank you to my parents for doing that.
a danas sam tu da kažem hvala svojim roditeljima što su upravo to učinili.
For not enabling me.
Jer mi nisu omogućili više.
And I was on the streets.
Bio sam na ulicama,
I was living with friends.
živio sam s prijateljima,
People who I thought were friends.
u stvari s ljudima za koje sam vjerovao da su mi prijatelji.
But we just used each other.
Ali mi smo samo iskorištavali jedan drugoga.
And not long after I got kicked out of my house, I got arrested for the 5th time.
Nakon nešto malo vremena nakon što sam napokon izbačen iz kuće i po 5. puta sam bio uhićen.
And before getting arrested for the 5th time,
I prije tog 5. uhićenja,
I started to realize that I needed help.
počeo sam napokon shvaćati da mi je potrebna pomoć.
And I definitely think it was due to my mother's prayers.
I ja uistinu vjerujem da je to zasluga molitvi moje majke.
Something started to happen in my conscience.
Nešto se počelo događati u mojoj svijesti.
I started to see that God was reaching out to me.
Počeo sam primjećivati da Bog dopire do mene.
In fact, when I went to jail that 5th time,
U stvari, kada sam 5. puta otišao u zatvor,
they put me in a cell with a man who killed someone.
zatvorili su me u ćeliju sa osobom koja je ubila nekoga prije toga.
And I was 19 years old.
Bilo mi je 19 godina.
And I remember this man, he woke up from sleeping.
I sjećam se kako je taj čovjek se probudio iz sna
He said, "How old are you?"
i pitao me koliko ti je godina.
I said, "I'm 19."
Odgovorio sam 19.
He says, "You're very, very stupid."
On je rekao vrlo si glup.
And he grabs his Bible
I onda je uzeo svoju Bibliju
and starts reading me his Bible.
i počeo mi je čitati iz svoje Biblije.
Read me verses from Prodigal Son.
I pročitao mi je onaj dio o ovome izgubljenom sinu.
And I really have grown to love that parable
I od tada sam odrastao u tomu da tu parabolu volim,
because it seems to run in my family.
jer ona oslikava upravo moju obitelj.
My father was a prodigal son.
Moj otac je bio izgubljeni sin,
I feel like a prodigal son.
ja sam se osjećao kao izgubljeni sin.
And, I hope my child won't be a prodigal son.
Nadam se da moje dijete, moj sin neće biti izgubljeni sin.
But if he is, I'll know how to deal with it.
Ali ako i bude, znam kako ću se nositi s
Just as
tim.
my parents did with the faith.
Upravo onako kao što su to učinili moji roditelji, a to je s vjerom.
But when I got out of jail, my mother,
Kad sam izišao iz zatvora, moja majka
my mother told me about community Chinakalo.
mi je rekla za zajednicu Čenakolo.
And I know yesterday you heard a lot of testimonies from Chinakalo.
Znam da ste jučer čuli mnogo ispovijesti iz zajednice Čenakolo.
And, my father was proposed, he wasn't proposed. He was told he had to go to jail for 3 to 5 years.
Mom je ocu bio osuđen na 3 do 5 godina zatvora.
He didn't mention it, but he actually met Mother Teresa when he was in prison.
Iako vam nije to kazao, on je majku Terezu susreo u tom zatvoru.
I had to go to community for 5 years.
A ja sam morao ići u zajednicu na 5 godina.
And I met Mother Elvira.
Ja sam susreo majku Elviru.
We both encountered saints in our lives.
Tako da smo obojica imali tu blagoslov da smo susreli svete osobe u svom životu.
And, I guess I won't talk too much about community.
Dakle, neću puno govoriti o samoj zajednici,
Except for the fact that it changed my life.
osim da je uistinu promijenila moj život.
I had a very deep conversion.
Imao sam vrlo duboko iskustvo obraćenja.
Legally, I had to stay in community for a year and a half.
Regularno trebao sam ostati 1,5 godinu u zajednici,
But I decided to stay longer
ali sam odlučio ostati duže.
because I understood that I needed time to change.
Jer sam razumio kako mi je potrebno vrijeme da bih se promijenio.
God needed time to change me.
Bogu je bilo potrebno vrijeme da me promijeni.
Mother Elvira, like Marco Zappella says, she puts us on our knees right away.
Majka Elvira, kao što je jučer Marko govorio, nas uvijek potiče da idemo na koljena.
And, I've recently exited community
Nedavno sam izišao iz zajednice
in April.
u travnju mjesecu ove godine.
And by no means that I do perfect in community.
Neću reći da sam bio savršen u zajednici.
My walk wasn't perfect.
Moj hod u zajednici nije bio savršen.
I made a lot of mistakes.
Puno grešaka sam počinio,
But I also learned the key to life
ali sam također naučio vrednovati život
is prayer.
kroz molitvu.
And I just want to say that, this past month,
Moram vam kazati da ovaj protekli mjesec
like 3 guys that I lived with in Chinakalo
3 momka s kojima sam živio u Čenakolu
have overdosed and died.
su se predozirali i umrli.
And, we're not perfect. I'm not perfect.
Mi nismo savršeni, ja nisam savršen.
I'm still a sinner. I'm still, I'm going to be a sinner for the rest of my life.
Još uvijek sam grešnik i bit ću vjerojatno grešnik cijeloga života.
But I remember, because I also lived in Medjugorje in Chinakalo.
A obzirom da sam živio i u zajednici Čenakol ovdje u Medjugorju,
And I remember every year admiring all of you,
i sjećam se kako sam se divio svake godine svima vama ovdje.
pilgrims, normal people.
Hodočasnicima, normalnim ljudima.
Maybe some of you, we all have problems, but, you weren't in my shoes.
Mi svi imamo problema, ali niste bili na mom mjestu.
And admiring the fact that, you could go anywhere else this summer, but you came here.
Divim vam se zato što ste mogli otići bilo gdje ovoga ljeta, ali odlučili ste doći ovdje.
Whether it be for the peace that you feel on Pobrdo,
Je li to zbog mira koji osjećate na Podbrdu?
or you're in search of something.
Ili tragate za nečim?
I always admired it, and today I'm looking to be like you all.
Divim vam se uistinu i danas nastojim biti poput
Just
vas.
a simple man of faith,
Jednostavni čovjek vjere.
and it's not easy.
To nije lako.
The same temptations, if not more, are out there.
Ista iskušenja, možda i čak veća tamo, vani.
The devil, he definitely wants me back.
Đavao me želi natrag.
I can see by the temptations that happen on a daily basis.
Vidim to na iskušenjima kroz koja prolazim svakodnevno.
But I know if I stay close to Jesus Christ, I'll be okay.
Ali znam ako ostanem blizu Isusu Kristu da ću biti u redu.
And I guess our story, my father and I, is a story of a conversion.
Da, priča moga oca i moja priča je u biti priča o obraćenju.
Conversion as a family.
Obraćenju cijele obitelji.
The reunion of a family.
Ponovno ujedinjenje
And
obitelji.
this can only be done through Jesus Christ.
A to se može postići samo preko Isusa Krista.
And I think my father wanted to speak just one more time.
Mislim da moj otac želi kazati još nekoliko stvari.
So I thank you for listening.
Hvala vam na pozornosti.
At this time, I want to invite my wife and my daughter to come and just stand with us.
U ovom trenutku bih zamolio svoju suprugu i svoju kćer da nam se pridruže.
And I want to say
I želim kazati
thank you.
hvala.
Thank you for both for being such godly women,
Hvala vam objema što ste bili Božje žene.
for being such strong women.
Što ste bili tako jake žene.
And if there's a message to the young people, particularly the young men here,
I ovo je poruka za sve mlade, posebno za mlade muškarce.
I would encourage you first to become a priest.
Prvo bih vas potaknuo da budete svećenici.
But if your vocation is to be married,
Ali ako je vaše zvanje biti u braku,
I encourage you to find
potičem vas da nađete
strong women who love Jesus Christ
jake žene koje vole Isusa Krista.
Two years ago,
Prije 2 godine
I traveled here to Medjugorje
došao sam prvi puta ovdje u Medjugorje
to spend 2 weeks with my son in Comunità Cenacolo.
kako bi proveo 2 tjedna u zajednici Čenakolo ovdje u Medjugorju.
And I couldn't believe, first of all, I never really even heard of Medjugorje.
Prije toga uistinu nisam nikada ni čuo za Medjugorje.
But I knew that God had opened my heart and you see, the thing about Comunità Cenacolo
I znam da je Bog otvorio moje srce. A inače, kad govorimo o zajednici Čenakolo,
that people need to understand
ono što ljudi moraju razumjeti
is that God's plan and Mother Alvera's plan
Da je
and the
Bož-
Blessed Mother's plan
da je Božji plan, plan sestre majke Elvire i Gospin plan
is for these broken people that go to community
je da te uništene ljude koji odlaze u tu zajednicu,
to lead their family to the foot of the cross.
kako mogu oni dovesti svoju obitelj ispod križa.
And so for 2 weeks I lived here in Medjugorje in community,
Tako da sam 2 tjedna proveo živeći ovdje u Međugorju u zajednici Čenakolo
and I spent every day with this young man.
i proveo sam svaki dan tijekom toga 2 tjedna sa ovim čovjekom, ja mladim.
And I was amazed at what God had done in his life.
I bio sam oduševljen onime što je Gospodin učinio u njegovom životu.
It was a time of great healing
To je bilo vrijeme velikog ozdravljenja
and forgiveness.
i oprosta.
Thank you, Jesus.
Hvala ti, Isuse.
Thank you to the Blessed Mother.
Hvala nebeskoj majci.
Thank you to Mother Elvira.
Hvala majci Elviri.
And thank you to this beautiful place.
I hvala ovom predivnom mjestu.
And I also want to thank Mickey and all the volunteers and all the people who put this beautiful event together.
I želio bih zahvaliti i prevoditelju i svim drugima koji su ovdje omogućili ovo sve.
And I want to thank all the priests and the bishops.
Ali bih želio zahvaliti svim svećenicima i biskupima.
And I thank you all.
I
God bless you.
hvala svima vama. Bog vas blagoslovio.